There isn't really a bad minigame in Wii Sports Resort. There's a modicum of enjoyment in every minigame at the very least, but the wooden spoon has to go to wakeboarding. Gameplay involves the player gaining points for getting airtime by tilting the Wii remote towards the wake made by the boat, then correcting the direction of your board so that it lands flat on the water. Constant correct landings increase your score, while a missed landing breaks it. It, in brutal honesty, is a linear bore. By a minute or so, I'd seen everything the game was in essence, and I didn't really care for much else. My favourite part of the game is when your Mii hits an obstacle and just crumples. Not awful, but still my least favourite. A quarter of the games in the bundle require the use of a nunchuck with the minigame, and as you can imagine, the accuracy of the nunchuck isn't quite on the level of Motion Plus. The first of them is power cruising, emulating the handlebars of a jet ski with the remote and nunchuck turned inwards where you rev the controllers to accelerate. Both its single player and multiplayer offerings are just jet skiing through rings, with not a lot in between. The controls aren't terrible by any stretch, yet it was in this minigame that I really noticed how disproportionate the control you have is. I'd have much rather had a similar style of control to wakeboarding, though I do respect that they try to get a distinct motion between every game. It's just that this isn't very interesting, nor good. It earns a point or two for the different areas of Wuhu Island you can play at least. It's a nice touch. Here's the second game that uses the nunchuck so far, because really, both of them are rather interchangeable. You take a route across Wuhu Island, this time pedalling with the controls as opposed to steering so much, participating in a race against other Miis with not a whole lot to keep you interested, at least for me anyway. You pedal at opportune moments, stop pedaling to conserve energy, try and position yourself behind other cyclists to get a stamina boost, and that's it. Yeah, this one doesn't really do a lot for me either. That being said, it has the same pro as power cruising in that you get to go around Wuhu Island, which is something I very much appreciate whenever I play this game. Oh, and it's slightly more dangerous than power cruising too. You get to bully your least favourite Miis, like this son of a bitch. What a great time with absolutely no consequences. Admittedly, this might be higher positioned than I expected at first, but I actually found the canoeing game to be weirdly fun for the time I spent with it. Nothing amazing, but the motion controls really work for this one. You either row on the left side or on the right side. You have to reach a goal within a time limit, or once maxed out, just see how far you can go. Not a lot to it, much like previous games, yet I think the simplicity works in this one's favour. There isn't a moment where it misregisters what I do, which is another plus. That said, there is a big issue with this one for me that keeps it on the lower end. Its main mode is the speed challenge, which is decent fun, except rather than just letting you go as far as you can on a specific course, you have to unlock it by reaching a set number of distances at a time. So while I'd like to just keep going, the game needlessly forces you to restart until you achieve what you were going for already. It did grate on me slightly, constantly being sent back to the beginning. Kind of annoying, albeit still a fun sport nonetheless. If you've ever used a Wii remote, you've likely had a moment or two where the response isn't quite what you think it should have been. Like, you've done the exact same movement in your head every time, but for whatever reason this particular one completely differs. That's the sort of experience I felt with the Frisbee games. One thing I will say is that I definitely consider this game significantly better than the others so far. Frisbee Dog is similar to the target practice from Wii Sports Golf, and Frisbee Golf is just golf with the Frisbee mechanics instead. By and large, I think the Wii Remote tracks your hand really well when you're preparing your shot. However, my original point on the game still stands about its accuracy. It happens only occasionally, so I'm inclined to believe human error is involved or other factors like the quality of my controller. But it's one of the few games that I really seem to get an odd moment in. Like, take this game of Frisbee Golf for instance. I legitimately think on some of these holes I hadn't ever played better, even getting a hole in one at a point. But on this particular hole, despite me trying to just aim forward, I was somehow drawn to the outer bounds nearly every time. I'm willing to believe this is just me more than anything, but it feels weird how I can be somehow the best and most accurate I've ever been on one hole, then promptly shit the bed the next. Oh well, a decent time.
Good birdie!
This is the first of 3 games to return from Wii Sports to the sequel, Golf. The original version, much like the Wii Remote in its early days, had an issue in impreciseness. I felt confident in most of my shots until we're on the green and I had to putt the ball gently. Even with the game's inclusion for you to simulate a swing before hitting, I never went into it with utmost confidence. Thanks to the Motion Plus, this largely remedies my issues, compared to Frisbee Golf where I seemingly am the best player alive, or Wii Sports Golf where I blast my ball off the green when I'm 2 meters away. I've been much more confident in my ability whenever I'm taking a shot, and it makes for a great game, like genuinely one that's pretty flawless. So why is it just shy of the top half? Personally, I would have wished it had an extra game mode to go with it. As will be seen shortly, the other attorneys from Wii Sports had game modes taken from their training section as alternate things to do away from the main mode. If it brought back the putting challenge game for instance, giving the player a ladder of increasingly harder shots to putt from a distance, then I think it would provide a better package on the whole in combination with the 18 holes you can play through too. Because by and large, once I'd played every hole, I didn't feel much incentive nor interest to play it again. A good game no matter what, for sure, yet I just think they could have gone further with it to make it one of the best.
Amazing dunk!
I don't know if this is controversial or not, but my feelings on basketball are quite positive, albeit not on the upper echelon. I do quite enjoy it, yet there are still 5 more options that I'd willingly play instead. The sport has 2 game modes, 3-point contest and 3-on-3 game. The former isn't all that for me. It's a fun distraction for a few minutes, though if you really like the game mode or controls then all the power to you. The meat of my enjoyment comes from the latter game. This is the first of the games on the list in Wii Sports Resort that has a skill ladder. As you beat CPU in games on 3-on-3, you progressively face more difficult opponents, which is a massive benefit to this. Put it this way, if you want to keep going for high scores in wakeboarding, then go for it. Having a skill bracket in here, however, takes a game mode and makes it way more evergreen. Now, if I really like the game, there's always going to be something in it that I can play to enjoy. Which is the crux of this, because while I won't say I didn't have fun playing basketball, it's just not that interesting to me. You pass between players, either taking a shot from somewhere around the court or dribbling into the middle to hit a slam dunk. If you could control where your player moves beyond dribbling it to try and get past the opponent, maybe with a nunchuck, then I think it would be way more fun. Of course, that would take away from the gimmicks of making everything motion controlled. It's still a good time, even a great time, with bonus points for the skill ladder on top of the multiplayer for the 3-on-3 mode. I just find the next 5 games more entertaining for me.
And that's the game! Great throw!
The second of the 3 returnees on the list is probably the least different of the trio. No matter when I play bowling on Wii Sports or its updated one in Resort, while I can definitely feel I've got more control to an extent with the newer version, it isn't particularly mind-blowing. It's just a really good game all around. Not only would I say that this game is possibly the nicest sounding in the collection, but with the inclusion of 100-pin bowling and spin control as alternate game modes, it really rounds out the package in my opinion. Taking the optional modes from Wii Sports training games and integrating them here was probably the best inclusion overall, because now the game which anyone could play from its predecessor has effectively tripled its content to make it more engaging for everyone. 100 pin is a nice change of pace from the regular version, while the spin control game is something I'm pretty good at if I don't mind bragging. But yeah, not a lot to say about this one, just a really good time all in all, especially with friends. The only reason that it doesn't go higher is pretty much just the rest are better. It's fun, still it's not the best game in the pack. It's not even the best returning games, as that honour goes to... If I were to rank the original Wii Sports games, I'd probably have it look something like this. And yeah, maybe I'm underselling tennis in this context, but after playing it again recently, I was much more underwhelmed than I thought I'd be. To the Wii's credit, this game is nearly 15 years old at this point, but nonetheless, the game is as bare bones a motion controlled game comes. You shake the Wii remote, and the game does the rest for you. You have no real degree of control beyond just timing your shots. These Japanese people pretending to use the Wii remote as a racket, filthy liars. So it's fitting that table tennis conversely reimagines the worst original sport into the best remake. It's possibly the best game in showing off the newer accuracy of the Motion Plus, as the paddle now follows your movements near one-to-one and makes the game a lot more enjoyable to play. While basketball feels like it had more depth and strategy in its 3-on-3 skill ladder, tennis just nails its game in its simplicity. And then there's the Return Challenge, which parallels another Wii Sports training minigame for tennis. Except while in that game I absolutely blow chunks and am lucky to get 3 returns, here I have much more comfort. It's by far the biggest glow up of any sport brought back in Wii Sports Resort. Succeeding the best game reinvented from the original is the best game with a nunchuck involved, Archery. You hold up your bow and aim with a Wii remote while pulling back the arrow and releasing it with the nunchuck. There's 12 targets of varying distances and winds in locations scattered around Wuhu Island. It doesn't sound like a lot, but take my word for it, this is a great game. It might genuinely be my favourite motion of the bunch, as it just works so well with the combination of controllers. Getting an accurate shot is satisfying, mainly as it feels like you earned it when you get it, or that you suck when you barely hit the board. But that's not all. If it were just the target practices, I think it might get into the top 5 on a good day. But there are the Easter eggs in this game that you can aim at. Fruit or other items around the area you're aiming are far off, yet still able to be targeted. And these are the real targets in my opinion. I, admittedly, suck at most games, so it's not often I could ever get one of these. But I'll keep trying, and archery always brings me back for that reason. A top 3 sport for sure.
Unbelievable! 10!
I really wanted to put this one at number 1, simply because Island Flyover is one of the nicest experiences I've had on a Nintendo console, unironically. Yet this one is just pipped at the last moment. Make no mistake that it's in the top tier, however. The skydiving minigame? It's fun. It's nice. You could definitely get some merit from it if you're going for high scores or stamp hunting. Yet I've already told you what is the main attraction here for me. I've mentioned numerous times now that if being around Wuhu Island is involved in a sport, I'm going to like it. There's something so quaint and comfortable about it. Thus, being able to fly around the island, explore where everything is, contextualizing everything covered so far in a location, as well as being a casual collectathon, I find it incredibly charming. Like, that's just sold me completely, really. Then there's the dogfight mode, a simple yet addicting multiplayer game I've spent quite a few hours in with my family. You control an airplane each, with balloons on the back to target by shooting at them, and collecting more by flying to certain locations. It hasn't bored me yet, nor do I think it will. 3 great games in a collection, with one I truly love. And yet, it gets the silver medal. Master, forgive me, but I'll have to go all out. Just this once. Look, I don't think you're that surprised by this one if you've played Resort. Swordplay is the best game of the bunch. Sure, Speed Slice is pretty average at least to me, but Showdown and Duel are the most entertaining games on the disc. Duel has the skill ladder that I love so much, with gameplay that is quintessentially simple yet effective. You swing your sword in a direction you tilt, while blocking incoming strikes by holding the B button. So easy, and yet despite this, it's easily the most memorable game from the collection. And with Showdown, it's a game mode where you have to take on a wave of enemies in set stages. I wish I had more to say, but there isn't a lot else to cover. Well, except for one thing. I've climbed a ladder, taking no prisoners just to get to this one person. The first round truly proved that we and Matt are cut from the same cloth. He countered nearly everything I threw at him, while the same worked vice versa. Unfortunately for Matt, however, I am his superior. By the second round, I had him on the edge. He couldn't do anything to me. Uh-oh. Looks like it's overtime. But let it be known, Matt 2.0 fucks with no one. Victory. I did it. I killed Matt. Like and subscribe if you're pro murder.